Remember that? Through artificial manipulation of production and price, all of a sudden there were long lines at gas pumps, petrol pumps. And in America they were shooting each other. They weren't getting their beloved gas, for their SUVs and their sports cars. Anyway. So this is when Prabhupada starts talking about how this motor car civilization will not go on forever. Its days are numbered. We're living in a fantasy here. And that's what's going on externally in the world. All of a sudden people are really disturbed because of that. They're getting a little preview that they got to get it together for some alternative energy or some change of life or paradigm shift, whatever you want to call it. And then, as far as ISKCON's concerned, we've caught on by 74, we've caught on, we've caught on how to distribute books, but there's a lot of resistance to it because we're really aggressive, if you've heard what happened in the 70s. I think we were really in people's faces, especially at the airports. That's where people couldn't tolerate us. We were just in their faces. It was a war, literally. Like at O'Hare Airport, you probably heard the stories and fist fights. And it was bloody. It was a bloody war. So Prabhupada is what he's saying now. Instead of seeing Prabhupada's Varnashram reversal as a contradiction, we need to understand it as an extension of his compassion. Because what he's saying is, he said, look, you don't need this. Or he's saying, we're devotees. He's very generously including us, with him. We're devotees. We don't need Varnashram. We're devotees. We're already there, right? We're already serving Krishna. But for their sake, we need to show them a better way to live. They're crying for a better way to live, and they're still crying for that. The eco door now is the biggest door in Krishna consciousness, practically. If we should be the leaders in this, and still we're behind. So back in the 70s, Prabhupada knew this, that we have to show the world a better way to live. Because we're distributing books, but are they reading the books? Maybe they don't understand why we're doing what we're doing. Maybe we look weird, and now the deprogrammers are coming, they're taking the children, the parents are losing their children to the Hare Krishna, so they're hiring people to kidnap their kids and get them back and all this stuff. So, if we show them a better way to live, then maybe they'll read the books. I can distribute books till I'm blue in the face, and I have. But when we actually start showing them a better way to live, then they might take notice. Oh, what are these Hare Krishnas about again? What's in those books? People are reading the books, sure, and they're coming, little. And we're influencing society for sure. But it could be much greater if we were showing them a better way to live. And that's where Prabhupada is saying, that's where Varnashram comes in. So he's saying we first have to understand Varnashram culture, and then we have to, so we can have educational schools, and we should let them come to see what it's all about. So Prabhupada had this whole kind of initiative of city temples being the first point of contact, because that's where the people live, that's where the masses are. Then look what he's saying. Everywhere, wherever we've got our center, a Varnashram college should be established to train 4 divisions. So after people go through basic training, like a Bhakta program, or maybe even Bhakta Shastri or whatever, then they have to understand, who they are, and what their contribution is to Krishna's movement, and that's what you find out in the Varnashram college, your guna and karma. And by college, Prabhupada meant, for Prabhupada he said, Gurukula up to the age of 10, 11, it's pre-puberty. And then once you hit puberty, you really start manifesting your tendencies toward work, toward action, toward activity. Then you can focus on a direction for training. Because if the people are in chaos, how are they able to accept the great philosophy? It requires a cool brain. So we didn't have cool brains ourselves, did we? Hey, what's going on, Prabhupada? So, it didn't happen, because Prabhupada was still saying distribute books, double it, so we were just preoccupied with that, basically. Just trying to keep up with Prabhupada's order to distribute books. But especially if you look at morning walks and room conversations from those 3 years there, 74 to 76, you'll find a lot about getting land and developing our own society, not dependent on modern society, which is not going to last. It's not sustainable. And materialists know this too. They know they got to change. They're scared. They know something's got to give, but they don't know what to do. Because if you're not practicing some culture which is aiming toward transcendence, you have to try to exploit the resources of material nature for temporary sense gratification, either in goodness, passion, or ignorance. Mostly ignorance today. So, that was 74, 76. And now, since spiritual education is ISKCON's overriding purpose, as we learn how to set up varnashram colleges, quote, everywhere, wherever we have got our center, the more we will succeed in pleasing our founder Acaraya. That becomes crystal clear when we hear Srila Prabhupada's final application of varnashram to ISKCON. So 66 to 73, forget it. 74 to 76, let's do it for their sake. It's for the preaching. It will help the preaching. But we don't need it because we're devotees. But now, remember that face at the end of the video? Compassion. Now Prabhupada further extends his application to varnashram to ISKCON by saying, you need it. You need it. You guys need it. Now this is a quote, February 14th, 1977. There were 2 room conversations that day. If you go in the database, pick the one that says, varnashram must be introduced in ISKCON. So this image does not match. This is New Vrindavan, I think it's 74 or 76. At Bahulan farm. Tries to live there. So it's kind of poor quality. Prabhupada's, he's having trouble. This is the illness that he never recovered from, finally. It's, February. So he's very weak. But you'll see the words, so you can sort of make it out. Not easy. And in the room was Prabhu, who was the personal servant, keeping his diary. And there was Satsvarup Maharaj. And Satsvarup Maharaj said, but Srila Prabhupada, you used to say that varnashram replaces chanting Hare Krishna replaces all this varnashram stuff. And Ramananda Roy, Lord Chaitanya rejected varnashram when Ramananda Roy brought it up as a means to the goal of life, or as the highest goal of life. So Prabhupada said, yes. Mahaprabhu said, Eho Bahya, this is external Ramananda, you must go further. So of course, Lord Chaitanya, Prabhupada said, he's not of this world. He's in the mood of Radha, Mahabhav. Of course he's going to say, Eho Bahya. So you are chanting like Mahaprabhu? Prabhupada said. You can't even chant 16 rounds properly. You can't follow the 4 regulative principles properly. My trusted leaders, they're leaving sometimes. They're falling down. And then Prabhupada said, chanting will go on, it is not stopped. Chanting will purify. But side by side now, we have to properly engage people so they won't go away. The needful now is to engage people properly, according to their tendency toward work. In 247 Gita, you have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you're not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself to be the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. And the purport of that verse, which the Indian community likes to quote, because it says, Karma nivadi karaste. Krishna says, I can do my karma. Yeah, well, what does he say in the next verse? But you're not entitled to the fruits of action. It's not yours. Give it back to Krishna. Now, in the purport, Prabhupada says that there are three kinds of duties. Routine work. We all have to brush our teeth, right? Take out the garbage, and, clean and all that. Emergency work. Once I was in New York, it was a big fire. A big gas main blew. A gas main blew, and cars went flying up in the air. It was a big, crazy thing, a lot of deaths. And then the police were afraid the whole block was going to go because other gas mains might now go, and so we all evacuated. And I never saw people working so fast, so cooperatively. Each worker each were carried out of the temple and brought up the street to the next block, because we were afraid the whole block is going to go get blown up or something. So that's an emergency work. And no matter who you were, if you were a pujari or a cook or whatever you were, you just pitched in, right? And then Prabhupada said, and then there's desired activity. Everybody has their favorite stuff to do, right? According to our Guru and Karma. So that is what Prabhupada is focusing on now. We need to focus on more appropriately engaging the devotees. Because he was really worried that after he left, that this kind might not last. Because people weren't properly situated in their varna and their ashram. So then Harishari says, oh Prabhupada, in ISKCON, people join and then after 6 months a year they get initiated. And then after 6 months a year they get second initiation. Gayatri Diksha, Brahmana, Presto, Brahmana. And so Prabhupada, you know what he said? Why make a farce? Actually he said, why make a ludicrous? He didn't say farce. But it's the same idea. If someone's not qualified permittingly, why are you just, stamping him Brahman? Let him, if his tendency is toward, manual labor, let him do that. And by following those duties under the direction of a pure devotee and following the regulative principles and chanting 16, he can go back to Godhead. That's basic Bhagavad Gita. Now, hero son of Krita, how by practicing yoga, how by following one's qualities of work, every man can become perfect. Next verse. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings, and who is all pervading, every man can attain perfection. You don't have to change or be somebody or not. Greatest example is Jayananda. Where did I say you found Jayananda if you wanted to find him at the temple? Taking out the garbage, fixing the cars, fixing the plumbing. He was doing Shudra work, but he knew the art and science of serving Krishna. Say Guru hoy. Kiva vipra kiva nyasi Shudra kene noy. Ye Krishna tattva. Say Guru hoy. He was a guru by example. Great example, great. Yeah. So, let's see here. Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dismissed Varnashram as, quote, external, Srila Prabhupada embraced it to further extend the Lord's mercy, so that everyone could get aboard the path home, back to Godhead. Yeah. So, when Satsuri Maharaj said that Lord Chaitanya rejected Varnashram, he didn't reject it in the sense that he said it was wrong. He personally wanted something higher, because that was his mood, Mahabhav. So Prabhupada said, yes, our program is different. And you think, what? How could Prabhupada say he has a different program than Lord Chaitanya's? He's Lord Chaitanya's greatest representative, right? Now we know, he's the Senapati Bhakta. He was sent by Lord Chaitanya to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. Then how could Prabhupada say we have a different program than Lord Chaitanya? Well, what he means is he's going to extend the mercy down further to get people aboard Krishna consciousness on the material side of Varnashram. Extending the mercy at the bottom doesn't compromise the goal at the top, provided you keep people moving up. You got to keep them moving upward. That's the type. They got to keep going across the bridge. That's all. You start with, if you've read Surrender Unto Me by Gaura Prabhu, the whole thing with the yoga ladder. Yoga's like a ladder. Start at lower levels and higher levels. So when we start serving Krishna, we might be, let's see, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, where Krishna says, O son of Kunti, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities that you may perform, should be done as an offering unto me. So Vishwanath says, this is Sakam yoga, this is performing yoga with material desires, because you're just doing what you do. Because Krishna knows, you're already doing all that you do. Whatever you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, should be done as an offering unto me. So you're already doing stuff, you're already eating, you're already doing what you like to do. Just do it as an offering unto me. So that's called it's bhakti in the level of sakam, with desire, with what I like to do. Right? But there's more mature levels. Then you progress by hearing about Krishna, you start to fall in love with Krishna, to nishkam. Nishkam means then we start serving Krishna and we become a little detached, and we're still attached to what we're doing, but we're surrendering more of the fruits. We realize it all belongs to Krishna, so we're willing to give Krishna more of our time and our money and our energy and our heart and our soul. And the full, complete, when we're on the other side of the Varnashram bridge, then we're finally in Shuddha Bhakti, where we're willing to do anything for Krishna. And we're happy to do it. But it's a journey. From Sakam to Nishkam. And as the bumper sticker in America says, even if you're on the right track, if you don't keep moving, sooner or later you're going to get run over. So when we're on the Varnashram bridge, we don't camp out on the bridge. We don't stop there. Although you do here, you have this bridge, it's big. You say you have a big bridge. Where they have fairs and stuff. That's a different thing. But most bridges are like traffic bridges. So you gotta keep moving over the bridge. Okay. As the next two slides show, Varnashram is not only a must. Is not only a must for us to become devotees. We have to be rightly situated according to our guna karma. It is a must for us to bring the world back to Krishna. Now this is Prabhupada in his one and only visit to the Gitanagari farm. Beautiful farm. There's the head of the farm. Parmanand is appropriately dressed in his overalls. And there's Harishari Prabhu grimacing there, looks like he's holding the tape recorder. Tamal Krishna Maharaj. I don't think you know anybody else. Yeah. Oh, there's Tripurari. Yeah, Prabhupada rode out on the bus, the Radha Damodar bus, with Radha Damodar actually on the bus. He rode out to Gitanagari. Because Gitanagari originally was a farm of the New York Temple. That's how Prabhupada said the city temple should get farms to get produce and milk products for the deities and the devotees. So Prabhupada went out on July 15th, 1976 and spent the afternoon In the evening he gave a lecture, which I'll be giving a little excerpt, and the next day he rode back. He spent one day at Vietnam. Yeah. I don't know just where he is. There's the Brahmacharya ashram. Oh, actually that was a temple back then, yeah. It became a BA later. Okay. So now we're going to see a letter excerpt. Why are farm communities necessary to establish Krishna culture globally? This is an excerpt from Tamal Krishna Maharaj's diary, because now he's the servant and he's keeping the diary. Yeah, Hari Shara is just back for a month. As part of, I think he was a GBC then, yeah, and he was there as a GBC. But Tamal Krishna Maharaj is the personal secretary. And here we go. All right, Litana Prabhu.
So this is the next aspect of Krishna consciousness which I wish to push forward. On these farms we can demonstrate the full Varnashram system. If these farms become successful, then the whole world will be enveloped by Krishna consciousness. In the cities we're interested for preaching, but we cannot present the ideal Varnashram system. This is only possible at the farms, so they are very important.
Now when Prabhupada says farms, don't just think the farming, I mean that's the basis, but think village. He means local living, small villages like that, where we can show many occupations, simple occupations in Krishna service. And this is a letter excerpt from Tamal to Harishari about what Prabhupada's talking about. Because now it's August and it's getting toward the end there, only a few months left. So, and here is an excerpt from Prabhupada's address at Gitanagari. Quote, so, this Krishna consciousness movement is trying to revive village organization, as you are trying here. Krishna in his natural life is a village boy in Vrindavan. Vrindavan is a village. I mean, it's like Delhi now, right? On earth. But that's how it was when Krishna was there. And that's how it is eternally. Golok. Vrindavan is a village, but it does not mean that we shall avoid city life or town life. See, it's how Prabhupada turns. It doesn't mean we should avoid city life or town life. No, everything, every place is Krishna's place. Everywhere there should be Krishna consciousness. Just like Prabhupada said, he was praising the devotees for milking the cows, working the bulls. He said, please continue working these bulls, because if you don't work the bulls, the day will come when you will want to eat them. Because that's what their utility is, that they work. It's like a horse loves to run, birds love to fly, bulls like to work, they like to work out. The passion that they would have put into procreation, she neutered them, and then they become stronger, and the shoulders actually, especially, as oxen, you say oxen. An ox is a neutered bull. And there's ways to do that that are very simple and practically painless when the babies, or not babies, 9 months maybe. So, in the lesson's final slides, because if you try to work a male cow when he's a bull, it's pretty hard. Because they're pretty ferocious. You have to train them and tame them and make them more fit to work. Depends on the breed too. Like there's the Brahmin cow, what do they call them? Zebus? The Brahmin cows. What's the names? The white cows? Zebus? Or there's another name too, depending on what.
Wongol cow?
Huh?
The South Indian one? Wongol?
The white humped,
Yeah.
What do you call them?
Wongol breed.
Mongol?
Wongol breed.
Okay. Anyway, they're like Sattvic cows, Sattvic bulls. So they're more easy to...
Deshi cow.
Deshi.
That's the general
Well, that's the general term. Okay, in the lesson's final slides, we confront the components of Srila Prabhupada's Varnashram challenge and what we must do to accept it. So I got these bullet points from Bhakti Raghava Maharaj, who has done a lot of research and meditation on this phase of Prabhupada's mission, and here is some points of this of Prabhupada's challenge. Okay, who wants to read?
The Varnashram phase of Srila Prabhupada's movement differs from 3 previous phases in that it directly involves the Kshatriya and Vaishya elements of society, whereas the first 3 were mainly centered on Brahminical concerns and activities, which may explain why we have been having difficulty implementing it.
Yeah, the temples are the Brahminical core of Prabhupada's mission. It's like when you're coming to your mother's womb, what develops first? The central nervous system, the head and the heart, and then the body develops. So before you can have a full Varnashram culture, you have to have a head. So it's very important what we're doing in the cities, because this is where most people are. And then when people come in, and then maybe not so much here, it's not so grand, like a big city temple, but when you have gorgeous, elaborate deity worship, it's like a portal to the spiritual world, right? And then, but you have to have something beyond the portal, right? Are there any Harry Potter bhaktas in the house? Recovering Harry Potter? No, too old. Okay, when our daughter we were homeschooling our daughter when she was small, and then the Harry Potter books started coming out.
Yeah.
Right, this is Gordy Tight don't want to hear about Harry Potter, so. But there's a point here. You did read nobody read Harry Potter?
I read it to
No.
my son.
Oh, you read it to the kids?
I read it to my son.
No.
Okay.
All of them I read.
Yes, if they were coming out, we'd read the book and then go see the movie.
Yeah.
So, all right, so you must know. So when Harry wanted to go from the Muggle world, the straight world, right, to the wizard world, where did he go?
Through a portal.
To where?
Usually through a portal.
I can't hear.
A portal or a portal of some kind.
Portal. Portal, yeah, but where was it? Do you remember? Wait a minute, we have a... I was counting on you.
There was a train station.
Train station?
And there was a telephone booth or something.
No, you're mixing Superman. All right, Gordy Tight.
It was like a platform 9 3/4.
Okay, this is a true Harry Potter about
Hey.
9 3/4. And Harry would go to Hogwarts, right? The academy. To play Quidditch. Anyway, so similarly, when people wandering off the street and come in here, especially, in a big city, like if you're on a big main street, they come in and they get this vision, and everybody has their story. Yeah, I walked in the temple and I saw the deities and the devotees were all like angels, and I was smelling the incense. So it's like a vision, it's a portal, it's a gateway. But Prabhupada wants us to have more to fill out the vision. He wants us to be able to show people, where Krishna lives. In the country, with the cows, and the simple village technology. When I was living in Pijanagri, we were living in the heart of Amish country. The Amish, they fled to America and they settled around Pennsylvania, where Gitanagri is. So we had many Amish friends. When the devotees, Gitanagri was started by people from New Vrindavan, who saw the New Vrindavan was going more construction direction, to build so much. And